Welcome to CyberSaint's Partner Day, pitching CyberStrong to clients. My name is Andrew Pines, Director of Partnerships here at CyberSaint, and I'm joined by Tim Colby from GuidePoint. Hey, Tim.
Andrew, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. Do you mind just sharing with us a little bit about your background? Can you tell me about your role at GuidePoint Security and your experience working with CISO clients?
Yeah, no problem. So I've been at GuidePoint Security a little over 2 years now. I've come from 11, 12 years in the information security industry, really on different sides of the fence, either on the reseller, integrator, service provider side, or working for big box uh, manufacturers and startups alike. So here at GuidePoint Security, I'm an account executive. I support directly my client relationships, managing and strategizing around their security program, and primarily work with certainly the CISO on down through his or her direct reports that make up the information security organization at typically larger enterprises, highly regulated businesses.
Excellent. And how does GuidePoint Security typically engage with CISO clients in the cybersecurity space? And what's your approach to understanding their specific needs?
Yeah, I would say the level of engagement certainly can range, largely depending on the relationship that's in place. Um, Most frequently it's a high level engagement, understanding all the value add that we have at GuidePoint Security, and that comes across really two core pieces of our business, which is product resale as well as security service delivery. So um, directly, the relationship is at some points concierge, at some points strategic partner, at some points advisor, and really making sure that we're filling the needs or fitting the needs as best as possible for our customers.
Excellent. And you've got some experience working with us. And so what initially draws your CISO clients to CyberSaint? Are there specific pain points that typically prompt them to consider a solution like ours?
Yeah, certainly. So CyberSaint is a very comprehensive solution when it comes to risk or risks that businesses face. Um, and what I think brings clients to CyberSaint is really a couple things that go really strongly together. Is one, understanding what are these external risks to our business and businesses like us, and then quantifying that risk to be able to present it in not necessarily layman's terms, but not also cyber speak, something that is compre comprehensive and digestible at that C level or officer level executive position at a large enterprise.
Excellent. And from your experience, what are the most compelling features of CyberSaint that resonate with your CISO clients when you're presenting the platform?
Um, I think I think that the solution is very powerful when it comes to its flexibility, meaning you can really input a lot of your own or a customer's proprietary data and get direct, tangible results from your inputs. So I think it's certainly a unique value add, and being able to tweak that and turn the knobs up or down depending on what may or may not be more or less important to you, your security program, and the business.
Excellent. What are the most common objections or concerns that CISOs raise when considering CyberSaint, and how do you address them?
I think a common concern is, hey, this is great information, but what are we going to do with it? Um, and to address that concern, certainly there's, I think it's, people, process, technology, making sure that you have resources to leverage the tool and its outputs, um, but then also the process and the program around how to implement the information and the outputs from the CyberSaint platform, um, into actionable, um, intelligence for the organization. If I were to think of another issue, um, not issue, but if there's any pushback, it would be more so or also around, um, on the front end of a CISO evaluating the platform, saying, well, hey, this is great information, but how does this move with me? And I think any customer who goes through a POV, um, quickly understands that as your inputs change, so do the risks. So instead of just a point in time risk with the current or modern day inputs, you can start to move towards, once you get familiar with adjusting those inputs, you can start to move towards a risk model that matures with your business as your inputs change. So that would be the second.
Got it. Excellent. So given how cautious many CISOs are about adopting like newer cutting edge technologies, how do you build trust and ensure they're comfortable with implementing CyberSaint?
Yeah, back to that POV, certainly see it to believe it, right? Um, the the big thing there is the like industries and the benchmarking across, similar types of businesses. That always seems to be eye-opening when it comes to, trust being built with the platform and its capabilities, just because oftentimes CISOs are very familiar with the risks that their business faces. And those risks can be, depending on the business, very specific to that type of business. So um, benchmarking across similar industries or similar types of businesses and the power that the platform has to do that and provide direct insight into those like businesses, I think is a great trust builder. As well, um, the beginning to end quantification of the risk. So you start with kind of these ideas or these inputs, and then you get a readable, dollar figure at the end if you want to go that far, right? And that's what the platform does. So there's definitely trust built when you can see one of your inputs move all the way through to an output, and the back end calculation going on to make that happen.
Excellent. And so how does CyberSaint's partnership with GuidePoint Security enhance the overall value proposition for CISO customers? And like what synergies have you noticed?
Typically here at GuidePoint with our best customers, we're very engaged across the security program. And it is always a struggle, as I mentioned earlier, to communicate, up to officer or board level personas, um, the implications of cyber risk. And in order to do that, um, the information needs to be digestible or consumable in forms that the board of directors consume regularly or speak. Um, so with the partnership with GuidePoint, oftentimes we have direct visibility into, other parts of the security program and the challenges that relate to those parts of the program, whether it's getting the right people staffed, finding good people who can, accomplish those tasks and fulfill those roles, identifying and outlining the proper processes to move through an organization efficiently and make sure that things are moving along in an operationally efficient manner. Um, and then bringing the technology in. So as we're engaged, um, to really assist and guide through all of those different roles, I think a guide point account executive or account team is uniquely familiar with the challenges that the business face as it relates to risk, but also the challenges and maybe um, getting the proper resources, whether it is the human resources or it is getting the right technical controls in place or putting the effort into um, those policies and procedures that need to be developed and written out across an org. So pairing that with a tool that can help quantify that and up level the conversation to decision makers inside of a customer environment that impact what resources are allocated to a security team and program is certainly a good marriage.
So what advice would you give to a new GuidePoint security rep when pitching CyberSaint to a potential CISO customer for the first time?
I would just ask, how the business is assessing their risk and when you're moving through different initiatives, maybe it's a tooling control around vulnerability management, just asking the follow-on question of how is this going to impact your overall risk posture as a business? And what are some of those things required um, in procuring this tool? What are some of those things that are required to roll out or implement in order to reduce your risk? And how do you measure that today? So just kind of asking those questions, because you know that the organization is getting asked those questions by someone already, whether it's their insurance provider, whether it's their board of directors. So getting engaged at that level of conversation is certainly a great door opener. It's something that we're doing anyways, but it's a great door opener for a platform like a CyberSaint.
Excellent. Looking ahead, how do you see the needs of CISOs evolving, and how can CyberSaint help stay ahead of emerging cybersecurity challenges?
That's a great question. So there's definitely an evolution always in our industry. That's the classic, I don't know if you say conundrum that we're in, but um, offensive practices are continually developing, and defensive posture, therefore, is also continually developing. Um, CyberSync provides a unique way to get out ahead of maybe some of those decisions based on different threats or risks that other organizations have faced that have then been documented and um, populated in the CyberSaint platform. So I would say that really is the biggest thing is being able to help think of risks to the business that are maybe not so commonplace or not so standard, and then either blend some of the tooling controls and processes that already exist to incorporate or overlap those less thought upon risks, um, or create new processes or procure new tools to address those less thought about risks that otherwise may not have been so obvious to the business.
Excellent. Tim, your insights incredibly valuable. I appreciate all your feedback. Thank you for spending time with us today, and we appreciate your partnership.
Of course, of course. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks.